Some folks like it. Well, I think it's fine. But some folks like it. Well, I just might. Strychnine. Oh, strychnine. Oh, looks like water, but it tastes like wine. I just like it. Straight strychnine. Strychnine. Oh, strychnine. Oh, strychnine. Anyways, how are we doing, everybody? That is a little song you may know. A lot of different bands have covered it over the years, but it's called, I'll let you guess, Strychnine. And yes, people used to take that thinking like kind of like rattlesnake venom back in the day, that you would get a kick out of it. But if you take too much, you'd be dead. So don't do that. Warning, your last and only warning, really, honestly. So there's that. Let's get rid of that blur. I mean, I'll still try to downstream, keep the res in 1080p because it streams in 1080p anyways. So hopefully that is okay with you guys. But I do that because people on mobile, people off the grid, so forth and so on, it makes the video, like an hour stream uses up like 180 megabytes to a gig of megabytes, depending on how it compresses. And well, a gig of megabytes, that's a silly thing to say. 1,000, 10,000, 100 and 999,000 megabytes. Anyways, but yeah, it depending on that, it makes the difference between like a gig, if you were running it at the highest quality that it will come across in, to like 6 gigs. So it can save people quite a bit of money. And some people have told me in India and stuff that they actually like were letting me know that they get throttled if the quality is higher than that, even though it doesn't like the compression algorithm streams in lower quality. So hopefully we can still get pretty good picture. I don't know. We'll try it when we zoom in on a couple things. But I just was out. The reason I'm late was the sun was going down, and usually I have an easy time collecting a bunch of different critters to feed our fish. And I've got, let's see here, 11 species of native fish from Florida to share with y'all tonight. And then I was thinking, like, I need more. Like, I thought when I put them in the tank, I'd look in the tank and be like, boy, I don't know if they have enough room to swim around. But I underestimated, I overestimated the size of like a bluefin killifish. Like, I thought it's going to need a 40 breeder for sure. And I'm sure it will enjoy that. But once you put a power head on there, like it could be in a 20 long. You could keep 5 or 6 bluefin killies, I think would be fine. So yeah, I'm kind of rethinking the 40-gallon breeder, how I want it to be. Right now, it's still a quarantine tank, but so far, the one fish that had ick issues that I saw early on was the blue spotted sunfish, and baby blue spotted sunfish, a little pygmy sunfish or dwarf sunfish, however you want to say it, from the South Carolina, Georgia region. And it didn't make it. Like, it wasn't doing good in the bag when I got it, and it had ick by the next morning. So I was kind of worried about it anyways, and its mate and its 2 fellow females had already passed away. So there was something that happened in transit to that bag and one other where the fish weren't doing well. The other bag was total loss. But I did get it from a guy in Florida that I'd never personally met or heard of, honestly, but he goes by NativeAquariums, and I told him I'd shout him out if he did a good job, and he did a good job, but the UPS did not. They were supposed to deliver it on a Thursday night, and I thought, well, it's okay. They didn't come Thursday night. You know, they're native fish. Probably they'll be all right on Friday. Well, they didn't come Friday either. They didn't come until like 7 o'clock on freaking Monday, or was that Tuesday even? Tuesday. Oh my goodness. So Yeah, they were like at least 4 days late. And that's something that I would normally either overnight or 2 or 3 day, like max, depending on where they're coming from. But this time of year, we kind of lucked out because other than that, 8 different bags of fish did survive. And were like completely like, they had some color, like they looked a little stressed, but not as stressed as tropical fish often do. So out of, basically a whole box, like if you were ordering from a whole wholesaler, you'd consider that a box. It's like a dozen or so fish bags, maybe 24 if you're using the small to medium sized bags, but he used big bags of, he actually used breather bags. I did record it thinking that I was going to shout this guy out, but with the fact that it came almost 5 days later than expected, I felt like it wasn't, like people would pick that apart and it wouldn't be fair to the guy, because I actually like paid the guy too. Like he threw me some extra stuff, no doubt, when he found out that I was going to be making a video, when I asked if that was okay. But I wanted to like feature him in a good way, but I think that would draw more bad attention if I do an unboxing and you see 2 bags with fish that are deceased. And even if I edit that part out, the rest of the video, I'm kind of like, these were 5 days late, not the guy's fault. But so I'm just going to kind of basically tell you guys this way. And when I show the fish, I'll probably put it in the description where I got them. In case anybody's curious, this guy goes out and collects, and then he tries to breed them at home. And you can go collect 5 a day in Florida if you have a fishing license. You can go down there. I always buy a fishing license. They're digital, which is cool. A lot of states are switching to that, but there's a lot that aren't that way yet. And Washington, come to think of it, I haven't bought a couple years. Last year I was in the hospital most of the summer, so not most of the summer, but like I was either in Florida or in California or Chicago, giving talks, doing things, or I was sick the last 2 months of summer. So I didn't fished last summer and I haven't gotten the license this year, but I may all be online now, I would hope. But that is a nice way to do it, the online fish license, where it's all done on your phone and you just pull it up, and when an officer pulls you over, you just have to tell them your info, and they, even if you have no ID on you, they can even pull it up, which for me, I think that gets rid of a lot of issues. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. How are we doing? Sketty Nona, Jeff, Mike 93, James Nguyen, what's going on? Yeah, everything should be done on the phone nowadays. Yeah, apps and like anything that like a lot of people are dealing with should have at least a phone version with the way people are these days. Happy 2017. Hello. Coro, yep, Empire of Dirt, what's going on? I know I said hi to Jeff already, but all the critters, hey, what's up? I have a 3-gallon tub with a heater and a bubbler in my house, raising Daphnia, feeding yeast and spirulina. Should I do water changes? Not really. Yeah, I wouldn't. The only thing you might want to worry about is the water getting too hard. So if you have really hard water and you're doing a lot of evaporation top-offs quickly, that's where you might worry about that. But if you're feeding those Daphnia regularly, like they're going to be eating most of the like green water you're creating essentially, then honestly, if you make it too green, you'll know when there's like a scum on the top that's like thick, like, or if you get cyanobacteria, then you'll know, oh, I've gone too far. Or if they start dying and you see like their exoskeletons and bodies piling up on the bottom one morning or evening, and you can see another group of them gasping in the corner, that's another sign that like, ooh, nitrates, ammonia, or oxygen, one of those 3, something's going wrong in your culture. And then, yeah, I would do a big water change, or, like a good change. But the thing is, unless you have really hard water, like TDS, and KHGH, it's several hundred or something, like you do in like Tennessee and a lot of places like that. Texas, some parts of Florida, the Midwest, those places, you may think about it, but the thing is, they're going to be building their exoskeleton out of the carbon and out of, you know, the carbonates, the carbon in the carbonates, and you know, also even the nitrates and stuff like that. They all incorporate this into the into that exoskeleton, and so each one actually uses quite a bit in those exoskeletons because they also shed those exoskeletons. So I would say that the health of the Daphnia and the health of the actual green water that you're creating will tell you if you need to do a change or not. So yeah, that's from my experience. Now, different water, different strains of Daphnia, different cultures, you know, things kind of work out different for different people, different places. So do what works at the end of the day. But that's what works for me. Bambi, what's going on? Mike, 1993, I did see your super chat. I see you. And thank you. Appreciate it. Justin Starbuck, what's up? Ozark Aquatic, what is going on? Radina, Armored Anvil, K Day, Keith 74, Asya, good to see you. It was a good guess that I was getting a Dr. Pepper. I mean, yes, I did get a Dr. Pepper. Oh yeah, man. I had to deal with having a Mr. Pibb earlier that was like lukewarm. It's like, I don't know, 70 degrees. Not copacetic, bro. Anyways, so what we got going on in here, and we'll go feed the new native tank. And kind of what my thoughts were if you guys have questions, cool. I'm not always the best at catching all the questions. Alex, you suck. Yeah, at the questions when when I'm on a mobile camera filming and like feeding fish and doing things. But I'll check back in and we'll come back to the computer and so forth. But I got a couple new things going on in tanks that maybe I'll update you guys on as well, if that sounds good. Ryan Harris, also, I see you, buddy. And JP, I see you too. Andrew, what's up? You haven't missed much yet. And George, what's up? Yeah, you're cooking dinner. My wife is too. Cassandra, hello. And my wife barbecued some chicken and asparagus, it appears. So yeah, what I caught here is I've got, if you can see them, let's see if we can tilt this up a little bit. So we've got like at the bottom there, if you can make out, they always hang out together because they get scared and they form like one big thing. But we've got aquatic isopods, which honestly, if they get in the biotope, I'm happy anyways, because they have been proven now in scientific studies to not eat fish eggs at all, to not eat plants that are living. And in fact, they mostly are a fungi and bacteriivore, and they actually eat the fungi, bacteria, archaea, and algae in things, and they clean it up. I mean, they clean up like rotting stuff. They've actually shown that like Danio eggs, tetra eggs, catfish, cichlids, all sorts of eggs, isopods will actually clean them. And not only that, they will remove the fuzzy bad eggs and they'll like eat them out of the little clump of good eggs. And it's almost as though they evolved to know that they should leave some number of the good eggs. I don't know if that's the logic. I mean, I don't know how there's any logic, so to speak, amongst these little critters. They're very tiny. But yeah. And then we've also got a couple little whirligig beetles in here, which, you know, I haven't actually fed those to my fish yet. But, you know, I'm not that worried. There's also just a ton of pregnant Daphnia. You can see they've got the black dot on their back. In the cup, the black Daphnia do. Those are females that have about 30 eggs. There goes one of the whirligig beetles. And then we've got the mosquito larva, which I maybe have a dozen in there. So hopefully when we feed, there'll be a little bit of everything to see what they want, because I fed them this morning some really high quality processed food, and only the catfish and the darters kind of picked at it. And one of them kind of like spit it out. And yeah, Ozark Aquatics. I think a lot of the species we see in the isopod community in the aquarium, if they are not super long and centipede looky, if they look more like a pill bug or potato bug or sow bug or whatever the hell you want to call those things. Here, wait, come on, let me turn. Are you kidding me? Come on, turn. These guys are aquatic, Acellus aquaticus are what these guys are. If I could get it to lock on, here we go. And they're kind of crawling around, but they're a little longer than a normal potato bug, and their legs are not quite as dense. But they kind of look like a caterpillar with armored segments. Those are aquatic Acellus, mostly in North America and Northern Europe. If you're not in the tropics and you're above the Tropic of Cancer, then or below Capricorn, I guess, then you have one of like 4 or 5 main freshwater species, and Acellus aquaticus is the main one for North America and Europe. Anyways, there is another common species that is more often called a woodlouse, and it has long antennas. Its antennas are the length of its armored body, and its legs stick out very spindly like a centipede, like I was saying. But yeah, hey, USMC 72409, what's up? Going good tonight. Hope you're doing well. Cassandra, also, I hope you're doing well. You're convinced mosquito fish will outlive everything else on this earth. Yeah, they're pretty tough. They're pretty rugged. You know, they drop those from planes without giving them any parachute or anything. They just drop them in ditches and in like flooded areas in the US and in like high mosquito areas, even in and it's interesting because they don't really seem to be a big problem for most ecosystems. They've really studied releasing gambusia and guppies and things, and if they can survive, which is a big if, like Minnesota, places like that, a lot of times they'll just live for the summer, and it's enough to help tamp down that population by releasing like 1 million baby fry of gambusia, Holbrook eye, or what's the other one? There's Holbrook eye, there's long man eye, there's another one too. But anyways, the main ones, is it hooker eye? Anyhow, the main ones that are native to the U.S., gambusia, they do release them out into regions in the U.S. where they're not native, and they've found that they don't really take up much of the food web. The only thing they really do is they take out a lot of mosquito and they take out a lot of mosquito eggs and larvae. And a lot of states actually have like a whole breeding and fish and game department program set up to breed gambusia for people to put out there. Now, gambusia, interestingly to me, I don't know if any of you guys care, gambusia, native fish that we're talking about here, there's a western and an eastern species of it. And like in America, that's the main divide. In North America, there's like a western and an eastern grouping. I think the Mississippi River roughly is kind of where it splits ish. Like the west side of the Mississippi drainage tends to be the other kind, and the other one tends to have a mix of both some places. And then once you get to like the Cahaba River and like some of those like Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia rivers, everything on the eastern seaboard is the Holbrook eye. But anyways, they basically look the same. They look like female guppies, but they are quite aggressive for live bears. So you don't want to release them in an area that has true live bears that fill that exact niche already. So you wouldn't want to release them in South America, in like Patagonia or something like that, even if they could survive. And they've done studies for, Europe and like the Balkans to see if that would be a good idea for controlling malaria in like the northern Middle East and stuff like that. And they think that pupfish or more like killifish are probably a better idea because they actually are very, very aggressive. And they populate to huge numbers very quickly. But the killifish are kind of more compact. They can kind of contain an ecosystem. They eat algae and insects, most of the species. But anyways, they're really aggressive to the point where guppies that have been released in Florida usually will not survive, like fancy guppies will not survive in a natural river or swamp that has gambusia, because gambusia are such a some killies. Good question, Mike. A lot of killies in the U.S. are saltwater or brackish water, where they'll hang out in between and in like estuaries and things, especially the ones in Florida and along the Gulf Coast, and like the Outer Banks and places like that, Chesapeake Bay. But the ones on the West Coast, the ones that are on farther northeast, and the ones in the Great Lakes and stuff, there's quite a few killies that are actually, they go up the Mississippi as well, that are very, very just freshwater only. But, you know, there are a lot of books out there, and I wanted to mention this while we're talking about native fish tonight. There's 2 books really in the hobby that like everyone should have, that are affordable, that you, even if you're not a fanatic, but you're just curious about fish. These are probably the 2 best books in my opinion, with the Peterson probably winning out just because there's more color. But things are changing quickly. Like Lepomis, the grouping of sunfish, including like the orange or the red-eared sunfish and the pumpkin seed sunfish, and you know all those kind of things, warmouth, you know the ones, bluegills, all that stuff is completely reshuffled now. Like the bowfins have been split into 2 main populations. Also darters, there's been at least 20 new darters in the last 5 years in the US, and a few shiners and dace. So yeah, but there are, in this Audubon one, there might be better illustrations for certain things. But what's kind of annoying to me is they are pretty dry. Like they don't show the fish at its extremes, which in some ways I appreciate that, but that's like the most boring bluegill I've ever seen in my life. Or warmouth, actually, it's got red eyes now that I look at it, but the one with the yellow belly, and that will tell you how to identify one in theory. But like it throws you off in this book because they include stripes and spots and things for effect, but then they don't show the spawning colors and things like that. And a lot of times it leads to the fish looking rather plain, which that's probably they think is a good thing. But like, look how they show like the, oh, and here we go. So, wait a minute. Picos, oh, Nobilis affinis, that's the one. Sorry guys, not hooker eye. There is a hooker eye, there's a Formosa, and there's Gambusia affinis, Gambusia Holbrook eye, and Gambusia Georgii, and Amistadensis. I didn't even know we had all these Gambusias in the US, to be quite frank. But there we got like least killifish, and in the picture of the least killifish, they show like a big red blot on the fin, and you'll see my killifish in a minute here tonight. But I just find that funny. Also, like all these top minnows, it's nice if they show both sexes. That is helpful, but they don't show the nuances of any of the colors that you really do see a lot of the season. You'll see them turned on with those colors. Like here's how they show salmon, which not terrible or anything, and they do show spawning mode for salmon, but in my opinion, like you could do a lot better than differentiating trout and salmon like that way. So anyways, but pretty good. Yeah, most of the Gambusia listed in the Peterson are extinct. That's good to know, Ozark Aquatic. I didn't know that because I've never come across like half of those. I just noticed that like as we were live, obviously. But thank you for mentioning that, Ozark Aquatic. Now I'm curious, like if they're extinct, like what was their problem? They just have a tiny range, or is it extinct by taxonomy where they're like, actually, that's just the same as all these other freaking fish. Now, the Audubon Society has all sorts of freshwater and saltwater fish, which that annoys me, but it has real pictures and a poop load of them. It has like several hundred pictures in the center of the book. But for me, like that's a hell of a lot easier to use for identification than an illustration of a tangerine darter. That's going to help me as a very visual person, or the orange-throated darter. Like these things are hard to identify if you're not used to darters and really experienced, because come on, let's be real. They're like wild gambusia, where they all kind of are like crazy psychedelic orange, blue, green, and red, and with like black and brown, like tessellation patterns all over their body. I mean, they look very similar. Same with like look at these darters. These ones they all freaking look the same. They all have like a chain link pattern. Some have like a metallic eye. Some have a black. Their whole eye is black. Some of them, have the like that black side darter up there. I think that should be called like the Morse darter. Why not call it that? It looks like it's a Morse code. But anyways, point being that fish color up very differently. Different habitats, different seasons, different ages, so forth and so on. And those are the two books that I would say you kind of need to go across the U.S. if you want to. Check that out. Boots and Cats and Boots and Cats and Boots and Cats. What's up? Hey, we only got 51 likes. You gonna make me cry. You gonna make me cry because nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. I almost turned into a creepy old popsicle man. Nobody loves me. I got some popsicles, kids. What did I do? Oh, what did I do? Oh, I wish I hadn't squished the fish. Anybody tell me what that's from? Oh, I wish I hadn't squished that fish. Chris, what's going on? Jay Oliver, welcome to the party with a boring background because I didn't set up the green screen. But we're gonna go and I'm gonna render that problem fixed in a minute. We're gonna take the phone and get GTFO and go look at some fish, and we're gonna feed the native fish these, because I honestly still don't know. They're settled now, their color's coming back, so we'll get to look at that. But I don't know. Hey, Luciana or Lucia, it's probably Lucania, or is it Luciana? It's not Lucy, it's probably Lucana. I'm sure it's named after a guy named Lucas or Lucanus or Lucan. I don't know. Anyways, it's not from Cat in a Hat. It's not the Lorax movie. It's from The Simpsons. Darbwire got it. Thank you. It's when he goes back in time and he gets pissed off because like Homer goes back in time over and over and he's still in the wrong place, and he looks at this little like fish that's evolving and he like squishes it, and then like he goes in time and everything's wrong again and again, and he just goes all over and like smashes everything. It's an old episode. Anyways, nothing funnier than a unfunny dude explaining the joke of a show that you're not watching. Let me grab one more thing and then we will be on the loose like a caboose hiding from a moose. I feel like I'm going crazy though. I need our food serving device and the turkey baster of destiny. One moment. Where did that go? Am I going crazy? Crazy. That's how it goes. Too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate. Man, the wounds of healing. Dun, 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 dun. I found it. Hold on. I'm going to switch up the phone and then we're going to go look at the fishies. No, I actually have 4 tanks. of native, specifically pretty much Florida fish. But we're going to take a look at that, and then we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But we're going to talk about ideas. Yeah, you knew I was going to be singing, right? Yeah. You know what's weird about early Aussie and early Black Sabbath is a lot of their records that we're talking about the devil, they were actually about really bad dreams they had while going to a very Catholic and blue collar school and part of town in England. And they were basically like, they weren't trying to like push buttons or anything. They were like literally writing about like the devil being a bad thing and being kind of scared of him. And then they got so much attention for the darkness of that first album and things like Black Sabbath and the name of their band and everything. And it was really more of like a fascination with theology. There's a couple interesting books on that, but there's also a really interesting. There was some interesting podcasts on that. I always thought it was just like a Hail Satan band, and like they were doing it as a gimmick, like Kiss kind of does with the devil and stuff. Fishery, I noticed you're wearing the shirt I sent you. That's right. Shout out to Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Aquarium Society. I wanted to make sure I said that right. But yeah, I absolutely love getting merch from other channels or other. Actually, I like clubs more. No offense to y'all channels, but yeah, I like any club that I've talked with people in. Obviously, First Class Fish says I can confirm that Catholic school will give you nightmares. Okay, I'll believe it. Mick, what's up? You channel your inner Alex when you grab your turkey baster. Well, thank you. I don't know if you should have an inner Alex. You might want to let him out. He may have suffocated. Poke some holes though for him to breathe. Well, we kind of have a few holes, whatever. Okay. All right, let me get this fired up and we will go on tour. We will go on tour. I'm on the world tour with me and my crew. What? What did you say, honey? Huh? I'm on a world tour with my hype and my man. Something with my mic in my hand. Man, I can't remember the lyrics to a word tour. That's pathetic. I used to know every word of that song. Okay, StreamYard. Enjoyable like a concubine. Ladies, take off your coats. Gentlemen, take off your coats. Ladies, act like gents. Something at your day for rents. Lyrically, I'm Ario Andretti over Mumu. Ludicrously speedy, infectious with the slow-mo. I never let the statue tell me how nice I am. Sorry, guys. I'm getting it set up, I promise. My ADD is just... I don't have ADD. I'm just, everyone says that. I don't have ADD. Unless you're a doctor. You think I do. Then write me a script or something. All right. Let me mute this one. All right. Testing. 5'9", 100, 382, 791. Let's go solo dolo. Day and night. You see the sun and day and night. Here we go. Okay. All right. Checkity check. Check 1, 1, 2, 3. Check me. Man, I don't know what I did to my knuckle. They're busted up. All right. So I think y'all can hear me. Let me see if I can get my comments live. Comments come live. Comments come alive. Let me see what is going on here. Let's try desktop mode. All right. let's see. Now hey, can you hear me now? Oh, no, probably can't. Okay, maybe you can now. I don't know what's going. Why are there so many? What is going on here? Hold on, guys. Okay, all right. I think we're good. Let me get rid of this. Okay. All right, now we're good. Sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy. So I'm going to use the turkey baster of destiny, cover you up. We're going on a tour. We're going on a mission. We're going to look at fish. And yeah, we'll call it fishing, but no fish are going to get eaten. We're talking about some fish that we're going to be looking at. All right, so check 1, 2. Can you guys see? Can you guys see? Here it's just the tank in the living room, but I'm just saying hi to this little tank. We say hello every once in a while. This one, been cleaning up some algae, been fighting the algae fight, and I've realized, like, for the longest time I was like, why is this stupid tank giving me such hell with algae? And I figured it out. It's the fact that I have a giant 2 chunks of this really dense wood that's similar to manzanita. It's a little different, or maybe it's just a different species of manzanita than the stuff that comes from the West Coast here. And then I should switch it out to a Flue Well 3.0, but it's also a shallow tank. So you're right on that when you're mentioning the lighting. But the other crazy thing, I've got all the Malawa shrimp in here. I mean, there's a lot of them in here, and not even they seem to be able to keep up with the algae that grows. I've also got some Rudolph shrimp in here, or the, whatever you want to call them, the Pinocchio shrimp. And I just can pull algae out like there's no tomorrow. Literally, this is how I work the algae. It works pretty well with string algae. I just kind of stab like this into the plants when the depth of the tank is right at surface level, and then I stab downward while I'm releasing on the bulb, and then I'll squeeze out most of it, but that will leave me with a pretty good, like, actual just clump of algae right there that I can then squirt out. So that works all right. But anyways, this tank, we've got all those silly Billy reed tetras that I went insane and bought. But also now, remember how I told you I like this ice pattern, ice tiger pattern on the Endler Guppy project that we're working on here? And I also threw in 7 of the gold flame tetras, or whatever you want to call them, flame tetras or Von Rio tetras. But yeah, I like them. They're cool. But I'm thinking about now pulling the guppies out. Like, there are a lot of guppies now, though. There are a lot of baby guppies, all the way from the yellow and gold variety down to the now kind of native looking, wild looking variety. And what's very odd is, I showed this last week, but right here, this guppy, super native looking. I mean, it looks like an Endler wild class Endler, these two do. And its exact sibling is this like polar tiger pattern, which is so weird to me. Like, the males in this generation, in the 5th generation, I guess, are split amongst this polar tiger pattern, and that you can't see even that well right here. Probably it's that white one here, or yellowy white one. There's a few in here like that have these stripes, and they actually glisten blue. The tiger stripes do when the light hits them, and then their exact siblings, it's half and half mix. There's like 4 or 5 of each. Are these guys that are totally wild looking with like a forked like lyre tail? Kind of weird. So, anyways, that's all going on. Also, what's going on? The Bacopa in the tank has flowered here. And this is my Bacopa hybrids in this tank mostly. There is some actual pure strain Bacopa over here. So if these flower, I'll know that all these Bacopas over here, just in this corner, are the ones that aren't a mix, but that's not a very good way to do things. So really what I want to do is I want to add a lot of this Bacopa. I want to take cuttings of it, of any of the pure stuff, and maybe restart the actual species, like from tissue cultures over here. And then I'll introduce those in the Florida tank. And that way I won't be introducing a bunch of algae or problems. But yeah, also kind of crazy, my Logonandra meboldi silver looks to be making a comeback again. And if you've been watching, you know I've had since 2017, I've been having a battle with this thing, trying to grow it, and then it goes down to one leaf that's tiny, and then it grows huge like this, and then it dies back and back and forth and back and forth, and it's just this never-ending thing. And you know, I can now tell you that the ram's horn snails are inflicting damage here, which that's not good. But I don't know if they're doing it to be spiteful little jerks who don't pay rent, or if the snails are, what is going on is this leaf is hitting the top of the water and then it's rotting at the top of the water because there's springtails and aphids and those kind of things living right at the surface of the water. Is it rotting because it's coming out of the water? I doubt it. Although our house is pretty dry compared to the true tropics of like India and Malaysia. Look at that color change. The green to the red. It's got a metallic shimmer that turns it like purpley red and then green and back. And you can kind of see the impact of that as I turn it around and stuff. But I love Logonandras. They're really cool. This one goes silver to green. And then this is a Logonandra carolensis pink, different species. But I think they're a super underrated species, and I always like to shout them out when we walk by the tank. But again, yeah, nothing I can put into the Florida tank, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out why these are rotting, and if the truth ends up being that the ram's horn snails are really just eating the heck out of the plants, that would be a real opinion changer for me of like what I think of ram's horn snails. Because I've always thought they were a really chill fish, or a really chill addition to your aquarium, and only ate dead stuff, because I've seen that to be truthful, and I've seen studies on it where that was the case. But I know when they're really desperate, they will eat plants. So anyways, all right, let's go and look at the native stuff. Did you see at First Class Fish's super chat? No. Let's see here. Oh, all the critters, I got a $6.99 super chat. Hold on, guys. Let me go back and see. Did I miss something else? Did it happen while I was yapping? Happen while yapping? But thank you very much, all the critters. And then I'm trying to look for the other one. Not seeing it. Hold on. Alex Fishery, did you see? I didn't see it, First Class Fish. Can you ask your question again? I'm so sorry. But we're going to go in here. We're going to play with the fish. All right. So, they're all together right here. And of course, it's a little dirty, even though I just cleaned it right before we went live. But can you guys see these guys okay? There goes a female. And here's a little male. These are Elosoma gilberti. So we're going to give them Daphnia to eat. Yay! These guys will not eat anything other than really pretty much live food. It's a bummer if you're a Aquarius like me, where you can't go out and play anywhere. But you know, that's okay. It keeps me on my toes. But yeah, here we go. Watch them eat. They're fun to eat. Look at that color. When they eat, or when they show off, I should say, they really do color up. And I think I truly sure. Let's a little more here. Also in caddy, some of my baddest in here. So the guy right there, Malaysian tiger baddest right there that you see, and hey, hold on. Let's see if we can get rid of the leg. Let me see if I can get rid of the leg. Hold on. See if this is any better or worse leg-wise. So I'm going to put in more live food. This is a different tank here, but we're putting more live food in. More live food. Ooh, look at that beautiful, look at that beautiful bean footage. Is that better? Do we get less, what do you call it? Less leg? Is anybody getting less leg? Also, will they be able to eat mosquito fry yet? Or larva yet? I don't know. I'm a little worried that they won't. Let's see though. Let's see what happens. Is anybody gonna go for him? Anybody gonna go for the mosquito larva? It's the $5 million question. Everybody's waiting and watching. The other thing that I've been debating is, do I want to put these little guys with another Florida fish, like least killifish or something? Or no, should I just keep them species only, try to colony breed them, make them a nice habitat? I don't know the answer to that one yet, but look at this mosquito. Oh, some fish are looking at him. Mosquito larva right in the corner. It's probably even blocked out. It's so far in the corner. Are they going to go for it? Can I maybe entice them carefully here? There we go. All right. Oh, they're looking at it. Oh, did they get it? They got it. Is he going to be able to swallow it, though? Can she swallow it? The female has eaten it. It looks like she ate it, and it was fine. So I'm going to try to pick out a couple other small ones, mosquito larvae. And we're going to put a few more in here because it looks like that worked out fine. So here we go. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Better, much better. All right. Species only. That's why they're in. Yeah, I figured it'd probably be better species only. Look at the mosquito larvae twitching and stuff. They really like the Daphnia more. See, the mosquito larvae can go all the way to the top and make it. Let's try to chase it back down. Go back down. I'm just curious if the male will eat the mosquito larva. The other thing is mosquito larvae do have like jaws, and I'm always worried because I had several rainbow fish over the years not survive eating them. Mosquitoes in particular, I've seen actually choke pencil fish. Oh yeah, the females really are hunters. The females, they want that protein. They're going for it. Both the baddest females and these Elaselma gilberti, they're all going for it. Look at this little female's even coming in to try to give it a shot. Will the male be bold enough to try to eat it? That female is not big enough to eat that, in my opinion. Is she going to go for it? Yeah, Dario tigris. That is the. Oh yeah, the male got it. All right, can he eat it? Is he going to be okay eating it? I always worry, and I like to watch. Just a note for you guys: if you use mosquito larvae, watch while your fish eat them, because you don't want mosquitoes hatching in your freaking house, in your fish room, wherever. And it looks like that might be too much. He might have bitten off more than he can chew. He kind of let it go. Oh, now he's trying to choke it down. We'll see if he gets it. Is he going to get it? I don't know. I'm so fascinated. He's got all the very bit of the head left to go. Is he going to eat it, or is he going to have an upset stomach with that one? All right, so then I have some Elosoma evergladi, different species, also little tiny blue sunfish. These ones have never done that well for me. They are blue, sure, but they're a spotted blue, and they're more of like a metallic blue, to be like quite frank. They're not really like an electric blue, like I've seen these exact fish in the wild. And it makes me kind of bummed, or makes me wonder also, what's up with that. But oh no. Well, guys, I just did something real dumb. I just knocked over the larva cup and a light and a box. Good job, Alex. Well, I'm gonna have to clean that up in a minute, but for now I'm gonna step on that bag and hope it killed any critters. But let's get to these to the little tiny, the next tiniest guys that need their food. I've still got plenty in here to serve them up the meal. Hold on. And that is these little guys, which if you haven't seen these guys do their thing, they're pretty fun. I got Malaysian trumpet snails in here, which isn't really a biotope thing, obviously. And there's shrimp in here too. So neither of those things are copacetic with the biotope. But we have the little least killifish in here. And the male's lurking around here. So here he comes. Here comes one of the males. And I don't know. I think the female may have passed away literally in the last 2 days. I've had her a long time now, and I just haven't seen her. So unless she's hiding somewhere really good, I haven't seen her. But what's crazy is she gave birth to over a dozen babies. And for a least killifish, I've never seen them give birth to more than 6 or 7 babies, a female. And here is this is her mate, her partner, the male. Well, I think he just ducked out. But and then here are some of the first generation of babies. So these babies should grow up, and hopefully they'll replace Mama, who is MIA as of the last few days, unless she's back in that moss, just like really hiding or really stressed for some reason. But this is a tank where I will add Daphnia once in a while, but it's so low like this. It's very similar to where they actually live in Florida and in the South, in Georgia, Texas. These little least killifish are so tiny, when they're born and when they're growing up. The Daphnia are too big for them, even though they're live born. There is a baby least killifish straight back by that red rock that I don't know if you guys can make out, but it's had to pass up like 5 or 6 Daphnia because they were all bigger than its mouth can open. Yeah, I don't see the female even all the way back. But anyways, I put enough Daphnia in there. There's also isopods. There's also scuds, which now I wish weren't in here. I thought Mama would eat all the scuds. She did not. She wasn't even interested in a lot of the scuds, unfortunately. And that kind of bummed me out. Can you guys make out the Daphnia here? What I love, if you can make out back by the rock with the little stick or twig or leaf on it, there are a bunch of Daphnia back there, and there's also some babies down low, if you can make them out. There's 3 babies hiding and getting ready to pounce. One swimming right towards that center twig. It should interrupt the twig in a second here. There it goes, right in front of the twig, and it's about to eat a Daphnia. All right, it did. I think this tank's probably too hard to see. Let's go to the bigger tank. So that sucks that I kicked this over, but we still have some. And over here, we got the orange goby, or the white cheek goby, sorry guys. And he is not happy. That is an angry white cheek goby. And then we've got the crimson or scarlet, sorry, scarlet goby. They're doing their thing. The Episto McMasterized, they're doing their thing. Just chilling. This snail, the spike snail, is definitely not just a normal spike snail. It's something else. It's got a white pattern that's like really crazy on its foot. And I'd never seen that until a few days ago. And I don't know if it's like a mating thing or what, but it's got like these white dots all over its foot. But anyways, yeah, here's some more of those as they call the scarlet or crimson darter from China. And we will not be getting these white cheeks, the panda loaches, or any of these crimson darters. A lot of the hillstream loaches will not be coming into the U.S., according to most importers I've talked with. Just because he's out right now, check out the big old boy, my betta there, compared to a more domestic sized betta here, right here, this dark blue fella. Here is the wild bettas. Here we've got the female that's just ran off, and the male's all excited. He thinks I'm gonna feed him, so I better do that. I better give him some food just for showing up. But yeah, he is the not the betta that you may. He may not be the betta you're looking for. Let's feed the female and male betta here. These are the and then right here we'll give him the now this one, here comes the female too. She's starting to kind of color up and get a belly. I'm hoping that they have eggs soon. Or mouth brood soon rather. I hope. Now this is the Malak, the Compuncta Malak betta that Lawrence Kent brought back from Malaysia for me. And I bred a few generations of them. This is Gen 2, the male, and then Gen 3, the female, up here. And then they're in there with some white cloud minnows, but they eat a lot. They'll eat the pellets, no problem. And then here are the white cloud minnows. That's the newest of the species of white cloud minnows. Then we've got these ones. And these are the Maha Chiensis bettas. And they're kind of meh about food. It'll oftentimes fall down there, and I'll have to either grab it or put a snail in or something. But they haven't bred lately in this no-filter tank. This is also a no-filter tank. No heater, no filter. Just uses the room. But hopefully that gets remedied quickly. This usually has a filter running, but I turned it off before the show. All right, let's take a look here. Here's some more native North American fish, Central American fish. The Zidordiae, Xenotechadordiae, I don't know how to say it. The Gobiidaes. And then some Australian peacock gudgeons. And also they had a bunch of babies. The gobies did. Or not the gobies, the goodeids. Gosh, what's wrong with my brain? Oh, and I hid another thing from you guys. So you guys know I've got these, the scarlet, or not scarlet. Boy, guys, I'm having a hard time with my memory. The chili raspboras I've had in here, and this is 8.5 water at this point, and the pH that these guys started in was 6.5. And so my whole goal was to get them into hard water and see if they're doing right. And the Malawa shrimp are doing great in here. And I got my red colony kind of firing back up. And I'm selectively putting them in here. Now, also the black chin metallic live bearers with a yellow belly. So that's interesting. And I found out why. I didn't know it was interesting. The fact that we got a female up here and then 2 males in the live bearers. I think we're down to 2 females of those live bearers and 3 males of the black chin metallic live bearers. The Metallicus is the species. And the tiger stripes are on all of them. And the metallic look is on all of them. But there is a species in Costa Rica, a very isolated population. And then the rest of the species of the genus is in all in Cuba. And they're chasing each other in the back of the tank, of course, where no one can see it really. You can kind of see them from the top. Hold on. And the yellow belly trait on them is something that I was told is only in Cuba. And yet the black chin trait originated in Costa Rica. And so these have a yellow belly and the black chin. So they're probably a domesticated hybrid of the Costa Rican line and the Cuban line, according to a live bear expert professor ichthyologist I was chatting with the other day. So the more you know. Ding. All right, let's take a look at the tank with all of the native fishies in it. We got the cypress darters and swamp darters at the bottom. We got the bluefin killies in here, trying to acclimate and do their best. And we got a little baby bluefin killie right there. And here comes, oh, look at that male bluefin killie. I love them. Beautiful bean footage. Let's see if we can get a better shot of him. So I'm going to try to drop in some actual bait, some mosquito larvae right for them. They deserve it. They're champs. And watch this feeding frenzy begin. These are all wild caught fish, so I would assume they're going to be pretty darn good. Yeah, they're pretty good. They don't even make it look hard. They just lean forward and open their mouth, basically. They ate the Daphnia. They're eating the isopod. They're eating the mosquito larva. I don't even think any of the mosquito larvae will rise to the top once. I think they're all done for. Yeah, they're all done for. So, wow, that was a quick show. The live bear, or these killies rather, they showed it off pretty well. Now we got another straggler here. We got a female pygmy killifish. Now this is a fish that doesn't get talked about a lot, and it's not really in the hobby. But the pygmy sunfish has a little dot on its tail. The male and female do. And the males actually turn this beautiful golden color. This one that's coming for the rock here has this beautiful golden green color, and it has a blue and green fin on its dorsal fin with yellow extensions and a blue tip on its terminal dorsal. And it's a really nice looking fish too. So I've got this tank set up, and in my head I was like, I want this to be the quote unquote biotope style aquarium in the house. And you know, I think that, oh, here comes the male. Hopefully we'll get a better view of his colors and stuff. He's got a yellow fin under him, his anal fin, and he's got a beautiful blue and green fin on top of him. And then here's the females, if you're curious, but here comes the male again. They hang out more towards the top. They're eating all those little, they're going for the Daphnia big time. And down lower, look at this. We've got a darter going for all the isopods. We got the bluefin killifish all colored up. One of the males is. And yeah, the rest is history. So those guys are all doing well. Also, I fed pellets, and I've seen that the only fish in here that's any good at eating prepared food seems to be the, and let's see if we can find him, seems to be the catfish. And here, oh, hold on, let me. The catfish is a Mad Tom catfish. Come on. There he is. Come on, buddy. You're welcome. Come on, Mad Tom. Sorry, guys. Let me try to get him, corral him this way. Turkey baster of destiny, help me. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here he goes. Whoa, he's speeding now. Anyways, yellow Mad Tom. Super cool fish, stays small, kind of like a Corridora of North America. Oh, I can identify a bluefin killie with an eye issue right here. We got one with an eye issue. That's the first health problem I've seen on any of the fish coming in from the wild. And it kind of looks like an eye infection.
but I'm not sure yet. We'll keep an eye on that. And then what's also going on is this manzanita that I put in here is years and years old from my vase project that was in the window. And I literally took it out of the vase, the deep vase, and it had this curly Q look. And um, yeah, it had the nice branches up top still with a few leaves even still left. So right now I haven't really decked out the tank in any way, but I did want to show you guys a few more things just up close while they're coming by. So these are the female bluefin killies. And this is cold water. This is 70 degrees, which we consider cold water in the hobby, or unheated is a better term, honestly. And here we got a male bluefin killie. Again, that's the thumbnail. Lucanus. Someone wants to spell it out if Mike's in there. Also, I just saw the cypress darter. So the cypress darters, look at, they subtly have a lot of color. They've got metallic yellow, gold, green, and even copper if we can get a good look on it. I'll get some still shots for them and put those on Instagram. Right now, they're hunting the isopods really, really brutally. Like, they're not going to let any go to waste. Even though it doesn't seem like they have the jaw strength to crush their exoskeleton. Like, they get them in their mouth and then they bite down, and then drop them. Bite down, drop them. But these guys are seriously little dragons. They are so fascinating to watch move around. And the male bluefin killies, again, they are, I think you could probably see why they're my favorite native fish. When I'm snorkeling and there's like a few hundred of these guys swimming around in the periphery of what I'm doing. Usually I see more males than females in the wild, interestingly. It delights me. And so now we've got two of the swamp darters on the left and the cypress darter with the narrower head over here on the right, and now he's kind of back by the stick. The two swamp darters are right there. And so I have a couple of thoughts on this tank, which is, I'm still waiting for quarantine time. But do I want to put sailfin, mollies or something like that, like full freshwater ones? Do I want to add more mad toms? And all these fish, like I said, I put them in this tank thinking like they're going to need all this room, and they really don't move that much. They're almost all wanting to stay down by the plant. And when you look at the entire tank, they've got so much room. And I know that they need room to swim. That would be nice, right? If they had some room to be fish. But how much do they need? Really, like, they're nowhere. They're not even impacting my filtration. But the darters, yeah, Mick, I think those darters are just about the coolest darters I've seen in a long time, honestly. And I have never seen them this colorful, or that one with the isopod in his mouth. He won't give it up. I've never seen them have so like the icy blue and metallic green, like emerald color around their neck like that. I've never seen that. I've seen yellow, I've seen brown, I've seen like chain link patterns and different things like that, but I have not seen the subtle like lavender and blue and green that these guys are really showing off here. And same with the cypress darter. The cypress darter, it looks extremely similar. They're pretty hard to tell apart unless they're next to each other. Like, I can't even tell when I get one out fishing, collecting in Florida. But these males of the pygmy sunfish, the Gulf pygmy sunfish is the elastomas we were looking at, the blue ones. And I feel like they would hold their own just fine against everything in here, except maybe the Mad Tom. I don't know how that would turn out. But, yeah. So, I am interested in your thoughts, though. Like, what other fish should we add? I'm going to add plants and things, but right now I'm keeping it somewhat sparse. It's like a rock, a piece of pipe, and some random Ludwigia from Florida. Also, there's Valsinaria that's from Florida. There's Bacopa moneri from Florida. Yeah, so in this tank right now, species-wise, just to count it down again, bluefin killies, pygmy pygmy killifish, which here's that one again, the green one that's yellowy green and blue. One mad tom, two or three cypress darters, two cypress darters, three swamp darters. Yeah, and then the bluefin killies. So that's really it in this tank. So it can use a lot more. I wanted to do spotted or blue blue striped sunfish, pygmy sunfish, but those were the ones that didn't make it. So those were going to be the other ones in here, and they were here for a few days, but they were about yay big, maybe an inch and a quarter or so. And I don't know, an inch and a quarter, inch and a half might have been pushing it for if I end up wanting to spawn any of these. But now that I have so many stinking fish from Florida, between the little least killifish up here, and between the all the and we got the Metallica from Central America. Then we've also got your what are they called? Why can't I think of the name? God, my brain is not what it should be today, guys. That's why I didn't stream the other day. I wasn't feeling good. But yeah, my memory's having a hard time today. Some days it just does that. But in here also, obviously, we've got Kohaku swordtails. But the other thing we have are mollies. And they are the Liberty Molly, which is, I can't remember the name of right now, the Latin name. But they're the Liberty Molly. And I'm not that thrilled with them anymore. I'm just kind of bored with them. I'm over it. And then in here, we've got the exclamation point rasboras, looking fine. The neon green shrimp from Aquatic Arts, the best emerald green line of Neocaridina I've ever seen. And then there are also Andouzi pencilfish in here, but they're very tiny, and they hide, and they're growing out. So they actually can benefit from the Daphnia a whole lot too. Like here, let me bring them out. And you can't even tell the difference between them. Like that is an Andouzi pencilfish right there versus the the exclamation point rasboras. I mean, they look way too alike. It was a dumb decision to put them in the tank together. But alas, I have done it because I'm a dum-dum. And I don't actually see a single... Oh no, I do. Now I do. I see one, dang it. Okay. I see one that we got one that didn't survive. So the story on these Andouzi pencilfish is they're the smallest pencilfish in the hobby. And Nanostomus, I love them. And I really love the tiniest version of them, the Andouzi pencilfish. But these ones came in like literally as fry, essentially. They are so small. They had no color. And the store was like, how am I going to sell these? No one's going to want them, etc., etc. And I said, I want them. And I will raise them like fry. And I'll put them in my tank with the shrimp and with the exclamation points. But now I'm seeing, unfortunately, the only one that had red. Oh, wow. That had red in his finnage at all has passed away. And I am none too happy about that. I moved my Kalitawas in here too. Just because the cat
was scaring them real badly. Also, I added some rosy loaches here. And I think we have the black stripe dwarf cichlids finally freaking pairing off after 2 years. I think they're finally pairing off. Very odd that it took so freaking long. And then we got the 3 female bettas. That betta is ready to have babies badly. Need to get a good dominant male. There is 1 male and 3 females in here, but the male is not interested in breeding whatsoever. But look at these females. They have bloated bellies. They're all ready to spawn. And also, here we go. Here's some of those hovering loaches, the zebra loaches. They're apparently still having babies no matter what I change in that combo of tanks. Just no filtration and lots of Saswasser tang with gravel on the bottom. That's what that tank is. And that's what they want. Yeah, those Tianacara candidii, I've been getting them. I've been trying to spawn them. I tried to spawn them when they were over there. I tried to spawn them in their own little tank down here. I tried to spawn them now again over here. I don't know. The next thing I'm going to try is setting up a tank of its own, maybe a cube, like a 5-gallon, like a real tight space, and maybe do hardcore black water. That's the only thing I haven't really played with them that I think may get some results that we want. And by we, I mean me. All right, guys, let me wash my hands. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. I would get very hot when I go into that room. I guess I'll show you, since we're using literally, yeah, those nanostomas, guess how much those cost me, Mick? It is wild. I don't know why they're so underappreciated, but those nanostomas only cost me $4.99 if I'd been paying for adults. And I got the babies, so he just gave them to me. But I would gladly pay $15 for those. I'm not going to tell him that. But yeah, so since we're free range right now, I'll show you my tubs again. Just a lot of people always say, can you do a video on this or that? And I'm like, every week I update y'all on what's going on during one of the live streams pretty much. So back here, we are getting some serious mosquitoes. I don't want the neighbor to hear that, but we are. And I think I want to do, my other neighbor has been in on fish too. So here's the mosquito trough and green water trough. Here is a Daphnia trough bucket. Then this is the big one. We've got everything in here, but mostly isopods. Isopods seem to need a little more room. Then over here, green water / cyclops mostly. And I try to keep the mosquitoes out of there just by scooping every night. And then over here, these 2 containers are both super black watery. They're just full of leaves that have fallen for 3 years. And super black watery. And they're attracting mosquitoes now, but they have these new scuds that I've not cultured inside yet. And I don't know if I want to allow them in the aquarium room, like, period. I'm just torn on that. Now, this tank also, bladder snails, pond snails have survived year-round in it. I will oftentimes put fish that I catch that are like sunfish or bluegills or sticklebacks can go in here. And now these and these 15 gallons are self-sustaining in feeding. If I have only 6 to 10, fish under 3 or 4 inches, there's enough food and enough debris and just confusion and black water that's going on. Now, I want to show you a warning of where Alex was a big idiot. So this tank, it's cracked on the bottom. Bummer, right? That one's still good. But this one happens to be cracked on the bottom. And I've been building a new fence here with my dad. Just stained it last weekend. The old one literally was falling over, if you recall. But we chopped down a bunch of bamboo, the other fence that in the far end. We want to basically dog-proof the yard because we keep getting dogs in the yard. and possums and rabbits and all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, so we got that done. But now I need to get rid of some of the junk. And we had bark put down just a matter of a few weeks ago. I mean, here you should be able to see that there's a pile of stones, and yet they're covered almost already. The magnolia trees dropped so many leaves that just have biodegraded. We've actually picked up a lot of them, but they biodegrade pretty totally. And right there, that is creeping Jenny. And that plant in the aquarium is lovely, great. But literally a piece of it came out of the aquarium, or this bucket rather, 2 years ago, came up and out. This is willow hygro growing in the pot. But anyways, that came out, and since then, look at this. Look how far it's spread in 2 years. It's spread almost 20 feet, and that's coming up through the beauty bark. Like, it was dormant all winter, and now we're seeing how much creeping Jenny has come up everywhere. So I'm gonna have to do something about that, like, kill it or something, because I feel real bad about that. We got some lilies, some parsley, lilies, some little herbs. Haven't planted up yet. They say Mother's Day for Seattle is the last, or rather is the safe time to plant. That's when the frost is over for sure. Because we get frosts all the way through April here pretty regularly. Hey, what's up, Wicked Freaking Aquatics? Hope you're doing good. Amber Pepper, what's up? Yeah, it's daylight here for sure. And then, so this part of the garden we've been working on, we got that shed down there, but it's basically full of Christmas stuff and moving stuff. So it's not really a great shed. I put together a tool shed, the little plastic kind that I think you saw. Also, when we had this big old windstorm, this gate came off the freaking hinges here, literally blew. And guys, not my choice. The gate opens inward. My wife, that was her choice because she comes from the backyard with loads of leaves and wants it pushed open. But I've got my scrap wood for the aquarium pile here. I've got, scrap wood. This is the shelves that came with my freaking fish rack. No way in hell I would have used those. These would have crumbled. That particle board, that sawdust board. So, I mean, look at it. This hasn't even been under pressure or even underwater for that matter. It's just been at humidity of the Northwest, standing up with nothing on it. And it's all chewed to hell just from like wind. Anyways, those fish came, like I said, in a cooler, half case or case, whatever you want to call it, small case or half case cooler. And it's lucky they did because they stayed 60-ish degrees their whole journey. So anyways, this gate had literally blown off the hinges and it busted away from the 4x4 as well as broke off the strut. So I rebuilt this piece of the fence using the same boards. And then we just moved the boards an inch, scooted everything down, reframed it, added this for some support, added this to the 2x4 that blew out, and redid that. But you can see where like it broke like nasty during that windstorm. And yeah, Peruvian platinum. Oh, premium. But I was gonna say Peruvian platinum grade. I was thinking, yeah, nothing comes from Peru that's good lumber in my mind, but I'm sure there is good lumber out of Peru. But in my head, it sounded funny the way I misread it. Anyways, so here we're looking at, these are from Aquarium Co-op. They're only a few miles away, and they're that away towards the sun. And these were $100, but they're 50-gallon low boys that are clear acrylic on the top, black acrylic with a baffle drilled, and then with the top open so they could be made into a rack, I guess. The idea was that they could be made into a rack, but you can't look into them anywhere but the very front. Kind of odd. But I don't know if I was going to keep them and build them. I was thinking of doing an outdoor native-like tank and having them slide out on struts so that wild raccoons, possums, squirrels, whatever, cats, dogs, whatever gets in here could not attack them. Because I basically have not been able to keep any fish
of any color, bright color, out in the patio for 2 years now. They've just come through and killed everything all the time. I got to show you guys something fun. I just enjoy doing that. I'm very allergic to these when they blow around. And I didn't know if you guys knew that they were flame flammable. You know, so that's what's up. Hold on, I saw someone ask a question. I will get to that in just one moment. There was something I saw out here earlier that I was kind of like surprised to see out in the open. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Anyways, there was a scat from a coyote or a dog, but I happened to know it was a coyote because I saw it. Just boldly hanging out in my yard, which doesn't make me feel good about the cat. And then also, there's been rabbit poo in the yard, so there's rabbits here too. And we're like in Seattle city limits, basically. Yeah, creeping Jenny can put out a blue flower, or it can put out a white or a yellow flower. It's kind of like a pea plant. Hello, ma'am. What do you need? What do you need, Sumi? Yeah, rice fish breeding tanks for sure. I know. I was thinking about burying them in the ground as well, guys. So hold on. Let me turn this around so you guys can look at my Buddhist face. Present. Flip setting. Flippity flop. Camera. I made you out of digital parts. Camera. You're pretty state of the arts. Camera. Look at how crooked my hat is. Camera. Okay, guys. Now you can watch me pondering over questions. Let's see here. And actually, I just don't want that on. It's too hot after I was inside. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, you could do beehives in there too. Let's see here. Where are we that I missed that question? The neighborhood secret. Yeah, that's why I need to put I need to put gambusia or some fish. Actually, I'll probably get sticklebacks. For my temperature here, sticklebacks work well all year and they can withstand like the end of time. So can pumpkin seed fish, sunfish, bluegills. They can also withstand all of that, no problem. But yeah. Do rosy loaches need a lot of space? Fish FK wanted to know. No, they don't need any hardly. They can be in probably a 5-gallon, honestly. If you had like 2 females and a male, or 3 or 4 females and a male, you want them, the males, even though they look all boring at the fish store and they look small, they'll stay small, but the males will be the most electric orange most of the time, because the aquarium is actually Lake Inle, Myanmar, and India, where they're from. That region is actually only hot enough for them to spawn one time a year, or rather, let me say this differently. The conditions are just right one time a year for them to spawn, and they do so there in the Himalayan foothills, basically, where it's still pretty tropical. But it gets rainy, and thus it gets colder down into the 60s Fahrenheit range for the beginning and end of the wet season. And then it goes to like 100 degrees and humid. But the aquarium temperature we usually keep of like 75 to 80 Fahrenheit is like ideal for all the lake inlay fishes. So CPDs, all danios, most gouramis, a lot of bettas, a lot of rasboras. Those are all like going to spawn year round for you. You don't have to do like a once a year spawn. And same with the rosy loaches, same with the red tail lake inlay loaches. Those can be in a 20 long or even a bookshelf 16 long. Absolutely no problem. They are really lovely little fish. The lake inlay loaches are like a silver leopard spotted with a beautiful red tail. I love them. They're really cool. Hello, chat. And Alex, I had a question. I now have 10 plus Daniel fry. I can put them in a 10-gallon with a sponge filter to grow out in there. I would put them in there if there's nothing. Oh, my wife just walked in front of the camera not knowing that. Oh, you guys can't see it. I can see it. I was gonna say, are you guys seeing my wife? But no, you're not. Um, it's a weird. I'm looking at a weird screen on my phone, you guys. I can see my desktop and I can see my the camera in the kitchen, and my wife's just standing there like tying her ponytail or whatever. Sorry, back to what's important. Fish. So yeah, I would say yeah, giving fry 10 gallons to grow out, Daniel fry, CPD fry, Rasbora, Tetra, whatever they are. The more room, pretty much the better. It's a little harder to negotiate the water conditions like quickly, which means it's easier to not screw up accidentally. It's harder to change them on purpose. And with baby fish, sometimes you want to change things on purpose. You want to feed them a lot of Daphnia and not have any, or baby brine shrimp's a better example, because baby brine shrimp won't survive a day in the tank. So whatever the fish miss ends up dying and becoming waste. Whereas if you have it in a yogurt container, you know all your baby fish are going to eat it. Whereas you have a 10-gallon, you may have a harder time with them eating it. But if it's green water, or you have little white dots, ostracods that move along your glass, it's a well-seasoned tank, it's a year old or more, or you have a good filtration system and you're feeding them like a fry food that sinks and they seem to be accepting that like as a powder, or you crumble it into a powder, then no problem whatsoever. The more room, the better. And they actually are stunted when they're in a 5-gallon or, a 2.5 gallon or a cup. You can get fish to grow very fast if you provide them a pond to colony breed in, or a bunch of plants that allows them to swim and use their muscles and to hunt all day long and have little snacks all day long. That's going to grow you out fish literally 3 to 4 times faster in the nano fish, under 3-inch fish, let's say that, the small fish world. Also, should I have the tank halfway full of water? It wouldn't hurt. That's a good trick, actually. One, the splashing creates a lot of aeration if you're doing a hang off the back. But so some hang off the backs, you have to kind of adjust with the downspout to get the inflow up from that level. But if you're using a sponge filter, which I'm assuming you might be with fry, then it shouldn't be a problem. You can have it drain on low. I like doing that, but with me, I have very, very soft water. So what I do is a lot of times I'll grow out fish with the water all the way up, and then over a few months or weeks, depending on how hot it is in the fish room, in the summer, it can be literally a week. I'll lose probably out of a 20-gallon long, I'll lose a gallon or 2 a week of water to evaporation into my dehumidifier and into the room at large, which is like nuts. But depending on how much you're changing out, how hard your water is, all that stuff, you're not trying to trigger any more spawns. Probably you're just trying to grow the fish out. So I think it's a great idea to drop the water level so that, one, they're going to be used to that and feel safer in dim conditions with floating plants and low water levels. That's what they want in nature. Maybe sandy bottom. I mean, even just a picture of a sandy bottom. They're not diggers. They're not going to dig down into it or anything. What's the downside of a scud colony in a community tank? That scuds will eat all your shrimp. They will eat baby fish. They will decimate food. They will eat plants if they run out of fish food and other stuff to eat, detritus. But they are great at eating everything. They are a garbage disposal, and they do kind of compact nutrients. Also, in theory, they can be a vector for parasites. That's like a 1 in several 100,000, experience. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't happen in the hobby that much. They usually need a bird involved in the life cycle to be the vector for a 3-host parasite. For some reason, that's what tends to be in there in the form of trematodes and or nematodes that are parasitic or protist. And in the hobby, we don't give them that third host, that snail to fish to bird thing that is like the common vector we see. But Daphnia, isopods that are aquatic, cyclops, you can grow those out in fish tanks to your heart's content. And the only problem is that fish
eat them. Ostracods, same thing, which are seed shrimp. Brine shrimp, you can toss them in there, but they're gonna die with lack of salt. And green water and infusoria, it's that it makes poor water conditions for your fish. And so therefore, you can put some green water in a small container for fry when they have teeny tiny mouths, or paramecium when you want that cloudy, milky looking water for the first 2 or 3 weeks of a small nanofish fry. That is great to use a yogurt cup or something like that rather than a 10-gallon aquarium. Danios, like I was saying though, Danios are born at a big enough size, most of them, that they will actually eat what's in your average aquarium. If it's a planet aquarium, there's usually enough little critters, enough algae, enough stuff, and they're such omnivores that they can graze. And yeah, it's going to be a little slower than in the wild where they have a million little bugs to eat and plankton that's zooplankton rather than just phytoplankton, but it'll work out. Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know I could select comments in this mode. I was born in Toppenish and grew up in Yakima Valley, right? Reside on the other side of the mountains. Oh, cool. What's up? I always see Topanish or Topanish written out. I don't know how the locals say it though. I used to go to Barter Fair. You know what that's about if you're from Eastern Washington, I'm sure. I don't know if you've gone, but Barter Fair, man. We used to go to Barter Fair every year, man. I used to trade fish. I even brought fish. No, it gets pretty rugged, so I would only do that with a few bettas in like a macrame. Like I get a friend to blow glass, and then I put a few bettas in the macrame like vase, and it really was kind of a kitschy presentation because you really don't want to do that full time. But they were I called them breeding conditioning vessels for bettas. As a way to justify the fact that I was selling bettas in small containers when I was like 19. But yeah, cool. The Blubsy, I wish you good luck. They get bigger, I'll give them brine shrimp. Yeah, you can do that. Brine shrimp are great. Yeah, brine shrimp are great. Daphnia are even greater, I think, just because their exoskeletons are a little easier to eat and they can live in the water. So if they get missed, they will reproduce and just survive and possibly lay eggs, which will be a surprise snack later. And they eat all the algae that floats in the water, and they eat surface algae. So I like them a little more than brine shrimp, which kind of just die in 24 hours in your tank usually. But brine shrimp, they're on demand. They take 24 to 36 hours and boom, they're ready to go, ready to feed. So yeah, I'm glad you like the content, guys. Guys, on that note though, I'm going to wrap it up, pack it in, let me end. And we're going to call it a day. My apple tree, by the way, it's turned white, which makes me sad. I really like them pink flowers, the fuchsia purpley pink. I like that a lot. Now they're all just boring white. But anyways, thanks for joining me, guys. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really apologize if I missed some because of this setup today, walking around showing you fish. I think the next video, maybe we'll look at some of the fish I don't have in-house, but the fish that we could add to those native tanks and to smaller like nano tank natives. I feel like that topic doesn't get covered a lot, and it's great because then some of them you don't even need a filter, but most you don't even need a heater. You can just put them in your house and they're good to go. So NanoStream guy, what's up? Good to see you. Somebody was just telling me a little something, and I don't know if it's true, but I think it is. I think it's true that the cat says she loves you guys. Hi. Hi. Sumi, that's not very good waving skills you have there. But guys, I'm going to call it a night. We'll do it live. We won't though. Let me end this nonsense, end this shenanigans. Oh, we got a super chat coming in. Well, better keep the doors open for one last drink. Hold on one sec. All right, guys. Oh, the death spiral of echoing. All right, you guys. We are back to the home base. Sorry if you're just joining us, but I love you guys too. Love you all. Love you, Azzy. Boxy. Anybody of a certain age will appreciate that. Anybody over a certain age will think I'm crazy. Under as well. But thank you so much, Justin. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you being here as well, man. All y'all fishes crawl. Oh, skeet, little fishies. Anyways, I want to thank all the little creatures, all the critters, Mike 1993, and Justin for the super chats. If I missed any other super chats like earlier, like I did, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the StreamYard, but I do apologize. I did a new video about how to acclimate the fish that I got from Florida and how I kind of got them into that QT that you're looking at now. And if you're interested in that and how not to just screw up your whole ecosystem while doing so, that video's up now and doing terribly. So I don't know. Nobody wants to watch it apparently. But that's okay. I have another video about how to get the most out of your filter because I have a neighbor who's using filter cartridges and buying new ones every month. So I had to introduce him to filter floss. And I realized some of us, had to learn the hard way and didn't get told for a long time. So it's a video that I've touched on that thing many times, but I want to remake it now, more polished with, a mic and better camera. So that's film needs to get edited. And then let me know what you guys want to see next on the channel. And hopefully we'll do some giveaways and unboxings soon with tubbing season and stuff right on our heels. All right, you guys, be kind to your critters so they can be beautiful and relaxing to you. Be kind to your family and friends. And of course, be kind to yourself or you can't take care of all those other people and things and places and critters that you wanted to take care of. You're going to have to take care of yourself too. Some self-love, guys. All right, you guys, have a wonderful evening, wonderful week fish keeping. I should be back on Tuesday if I'm feeling up to it. Things happen, but I try to stream the next day whenever possible. And I need to get some rest. So much love, you guys. Thank you so much for just being here, watching, liking, sharing. All that helps a ton, commenting. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Old Man River. That's not what you thought I was going to sing. Good night, Mr. Williamson. We wanted you to leave like an hour ago.